Today we're going to be going over the complementary property of trigonometry, where likewise how we did it for the complementary property, we're going to be doing for the same thing for the supplementary property, and that is to look at the quadrants for which each of the 6 respective trigonometric functions are positive or negative. We can see within the first quadrant, which is between the angles of 0 and pi over 2, all of the 6 respective trigonometric functions are positive. Within the second, between pi over 2 and pi, only the sine cosecant functions are positive. Within the third, between pi and 3 pi over 2, only the tangent and cotangent functions are positive. And lastly, within the fourth quadrant, only the cosine secant functions are positive, with the angle being between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So with this in mind, we can analyze the sine of pi plus of theta. Within the supplementary property, it states that we must find the trig of the trig that we're applying for the supplementary property. So to say, if we have sine of pi plus theta, the resulting function will remain as the starting function, which in this case will result in sine. But we do not know if this sine function will be positive or negative. Well, we must analyze the quadrants in order to find out. And this is for memorization purposes, and it will be likewise for the complementary property, where if we have an angle that's just slightly greater than 180 degrees. So let us assume an angle being equal to 180.0001, and we assign that to the angle of theta. Well, this slight nudge to 180 degrees, a 0.0001 nudge of a degree, will result in an angle. That look like this with its tail at its origin, something like this, where the angle is starting from the x-axis going counterclockwise to the angle, and that will be 180.0001 degrees. And notice how this slight change will result in an angle within the third quadrant, which within the third quadrant, only the tangent and cotangent functions are positive, and therefore we can surely put the negative symbol in front of each of the respective trigonometric functions that aren't tangent and cotangent, because within the third quadrant only the tangent and cotangent functions are positive. And then we just fill it out from there. This will be sine of theta, this will be cosine of theta, this will be tangent, this will be cotangent, and lastly secant and cosecant. Remember, within the complementary property, the trig of pi over 2 plus minus theta will result in plus minus of the cotrig of theta, whereas in the supplementary property, the trig of pi plus minus theta will result in an angle, or rather function, that's the same as the resulting function, or starting function that is, which will be, for example, sine of pi minus theta will result in sine of theta. Cosecant of pi plus theta will result in cosecant. And then for the sine of pi minus theta, or the trig of pi minus theta, we look at the quadrants once more. If we have a slight change to theta, which the new theta will be theta is equal to 179.9999 degrees, this angle will look something like this within the second quadrant right here. Well, let's change the color to be orange. Well, within this angle, or that's a triangle, so let's make it a line instead. We can see that angle, no matter how small of a change to 180, that is a difference from it, will result in an angle within the second quadrant, which within the second quadrant only the sine and cosecant functions are positive. Therefore, we can place the negative symbol in front of all the other trigonometric functions that aren't sine and cosecant, as we know that within the second quadrant only the sine and cosecant functions are positive. And likewise, how we did it for sine of pi plus theta, this would become sine of theta, cosine of theta, tangent of theta, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. And notice for each of the respective trig of pi plus minus theta, the resulting trigonometric function determining whether it's positive or negative depends on the quadrants, and this applies true for all of the complementary and supplementary property, which in this video we're going to be wrapping up this. In the next video we're going to be wrapping up as a whole the supplementary property with the trig of 2 pi plus minus theta.